Neil, first question. What about your injury news ahead of tomorrow? How many bumps and bruises have you got in the camp?
I think the main one's Richard Brindley. Nose is very swollen and sore. And obviously when it gets inflamed, breathing can become a little bit more difficult. So he's the only one we kept inside today, and we'll sort of keep icing it and try and get the swelling down and see where we are with him.
Let's look at Saturday. You may not have got the win, but it was a good performance by all accounts. What do you think it says about your promotion credentials?
It's funny because I didn't think it was a good performance. Having watched it back at the time, I thought it was scrappy. I thought we battled. I thought we gave it everything, but I thought we lacked quality, particularly in the final third, which is something we're normally a lot better at. And I have to give Torquay some credit because they defended extremely hard as far as their work ethic throughout midfield and wide players. They really limited space we had to work in, but the amount of times our final ball wasn't where it could have been. I think when you keep a clean sheet, if you have that little bit of quality in the final third, you can nick them important games 1-0, and unfortunately we didn't.
I mean, I was going to go on to the stat, and you kind of touched on it there about clean sheets and at the back. You've conceded 13 goals in 15 games in the National League. That's the joint lowest. Is that, do you think, something that helped you on Saturday, that defence that seems to be impressing at the moment?
Yeah, and the good thing is it's not just a set back four that seem to know, whether Ben Turner was part of that back four and was excellent when he was playing, and Alex has come in and done it, whether Dion's at left back or Calvin Miller at left back and Brindley at right back, it doesn't really seem to matter. It's more, like I've always said, we do sort of defend from the front, and the back line and Sam and Luke Pillin are obviously the final piece of all of that, but I think the work that wide men midfielders do in front of them helps. We've just got to try and marry that up with, I think we was free flowing earlier in the season but conceding probably more goals than we wanted, and now we're not scoring quite as many as we want to, and we're looking really good at the back. So if we can just get the balance right of both ends, I think we could be a force to be reckoned with.
Managers obviously like to have a settled back four as often as they can. It's not possible with injuries. Do you think there's going to be more changes? You're going to have to cram a lot of games in. So throughout the side, do you expect to see plenty of changes week on week going forward?
Yeah, I can't see. I just can't see how we can get the same players through so many fixtures. I think if you've got a player through Saturday, Tuesday, you've done really, really well. And by the end of it, they need a break. They're exhausted. So if you then got 5 more Saturday, Tuesdays after that, then you're going to have to keep it fresh. So, we're going to have to put our faith in everybody in the squad, young and old, and make sure that they're all up to speed and they all play their part regardless of the games, and try and get momentum going.
And I'm guessing at this time of year, we're in the middle of winter, it's worse, isn't it? The pitches aren't in great condition, there's lots of pitfalls.
Yeah, I think I've seen that up and down the country, perhaps bar the Premier League. Every game I seem to watch on telly, the pitches don't look great. So whether that's work that hasn't been done in the summer because of the pandemic or not, but certainly now with the weather, the inclement weather we've had over the last few days, it's not going to help. And yeah, we are going to have to battle through it. Survival of the fittest till the end of the season, I think.
Maybe with your player hat on from a couple of years ago, a few years ago, how much can a poor pitch affect a player to get through a game?
Did you say a couple of years or decades?
A couple of years. I was being kind.
No, I don't know. I think it'd be perfect to play on nice pitches all the time, especially the way we try and play. But we all adapt to the pitches. We started the season on Dover's pitch, and that was the first game, and that was as bad as we've probably encountered. So we'll, no excuses. We'll battle through, and the boys, have been moaning about not playing games, so now the games are going to come thick and fast. We can't moan about being tired. So
no players moaning about too many games now.
Well, we haven't got there yet. So, but certainly when they come about, I've told them all. We all need to share the load, and we're all going to need to be up to it and not let their teammates down. So fingers crossed, I'll try and pick the right teams and the right shapes. The players have got to go and deliver.
I wonder how this weekend's snowfall has affected your preparations for the game. Has it been really hard to be outside?
Today was a little bit difficult. To be fair to the ground staff, they got down there and cleared us an area, not a massive area, but at least an area to get the legs going. It was part recovery for some players. We wanted to walk through some shape and some work and stuff like that, which we managed to do. It's obviously not quite as ideal as going out on a full pitch, but you use video, which we did this morning. We had a team meeting video and stuff. So we try and use all the means possible to make sure that when the players go out on the pitch, there's no no leaf not been overturned, so to speak.
We talk about the COVID postponements. Is there a worry at the back of your mind now that not just COVID but weather-related postponements is going to cause havoc for you in the next couple of weeks?
It's always the concern at this stage of the season, which is why we was quite frustrated a few weeks back when we were trying to get games in on Saturdays when, against teams who also didn't have a game, and we was getting rebuffed. And like I said, hopefully now everyone realises we're going to try and finish this season, and we all need to chip in and muck in, and the league kind of enforce that. And no matter what happens then, if there's a game cancelled for one reason, then can you find another? It's not like we've got to worry about fans and train tickets and travelling and stuff. At the moment we should try everything to make sure that the season keeps going and we keep playing games.
I know you've touched on it with me and other people from BBC Radio Nottingham about your thoughts on the rest of the season, but I wonder whether you think your desires and your keenness to complete the season, do you feel that's replicated across the league and with the National League itself?
I don't know is the answer. I can't put myself into other people's shoes, and I don't know whether when games get called off, how hard teams have tried. They might have tried everything to get games on. I just don't know. I hope so. The integrity of the competition relies on it, so I hope it's the case, but we're all sort of in the dark over all the different things that happen to be going on that are causing games to be called off, and hopefully everybody's trying their best, and if we all continue to do that, I think we can make it happen.
Is it unsettling for the players in any way, because every new day brings a new opinion, more doubt, I guess, about whether the season will finish? Do the players see that, or do they have to, do they do well, do you think, to block it out?
They're trying to block it out. We're all on the players are all on social media, I'm sure, so they'll see all sorts of comments that do go on about the season. I try and be as open, as honest with them. I don't keep things from them. Whatever I know about meetings that I go on, I'll sort of relay it to the group. And the latest one was that we're ploughing on, and until told otherwise, we're preparing for games. I suppose the frustrating thing is when I'm jiggling the team about and someone's rested for one game to play in another, and then that one gets cancelled, and that's probably the most frustrating thing for certain players when they end up going 2 games, 3 games without playing because they was due to playing one that got cancelled.
Thank you very much. In fact, just one question before we finish. What about Solihull on Tuesday? What sort of task will you face with them?
Real challenge. Obviously, they've gone above us in the league now, and they're right in the mix. They play a good brand of football. I think from the stats and the data I've got, they're only second to us on possession. Highest amount of possession in the league. They've been playing 3-4-3, a really brave formation, causes you problems tactically if you get it wrong without the ball. I've been impressed with them. Total change from last season. They're a footballing team. So it's going to be a challenge, and certainly a system that we've got to make sure that we get it right against.
Thanks, Neal.
Hi, Neal. Just on the Efe's performance on Saturday, obviously I didn't see the game. How did you rate his performance, and what was his substitution just because he'd not played a lot of football?
Yeah, absolutely. There was 2 reasons. There was a tactical and that reason. So I was really pleased with him. Thought first half, him and Kyle were a real handful. We, like I said just then, we actually lacked quality in the final third compared to what we normally are. We rushed a lot of things. We forced a lot of things that we don't normally. And because of that, they were probably working off of bits when it did get in the final third. But it certainly showed. If teams want to isolate against 2 players like that, 2v2, then it's a tough game for them. So I was delighted. But 2 things. Number one, I didn't think he was ever going to last the game. We've been building him up, especially a game that was quite a relentless pace. And then number 2, as the game wore on, probably 10-15 minutes in that second half, I just felt we weren't getting enough 2v2 scenarios to warrant keep playing the two up, and felt that there was starting to become space in midfield. So we brought Eli on off the left and dropped Ruben into a 10 spot, thinking that he might be able to affect the game more from the middle of the pitch. So it was twofold.
I mean, on reflection, do you think you should have won the game? I saw the chance at the end there.
No, not really. I don't think we did enough. And credit to Torquay, you know, when we changed shape, they changed shape. They matched us up quite a bit. Without the ball, I thought Torquay were excellent. They were their midfield worked so hard to stop us playing. We were quite aware of, obviously, a team that scored so many goals that their three behind their striker would, if we got it wrong, would counter-attack us. And there was moments in games where it looked like they could. And I think when you've both got that respect for what each other can do going forward, and you don't want to lose the game, you know, being gung-ho, I think in the end it ends up resulting in cancelling each other out, which I kind of think what's ended up happening, even though I'm disappointed with our quality in the final third.
In terms of Callum Roberts, how's Callum Roberts getting on?
No, he's not coming too quick at the moment. It's just little bits and bobs that we're having to manage. You know, it's never going to be plain sailing. And, you know, we're just with Cal, he's, you know, we've got to get his core better. We've got to get areas of strength around the area where he's had the operation. So, you know, I'm not going to jump out and say Cal will be fit soon. At the moment, it's a little bit more of a slow burner. But if we and Cal work together, then I'm sure we can get there.
When would you anticipate him being back? I mean, or is it one of those where it is just too early to say?
No, I've got no idea. Honestly, I would tell you if I did. I've got no idea at the moment. It's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back a little bit, and you know, and vice versa. We need to just. The moment we start getting him on the training field and consistently training, and we don't have any issues, is the moment I'll get my hopes up.
How frustrating is that? How frustrating has it not been to be able to have him? Because obviously he was such a crucial player for you last season.
Yeah, of course. You know, I look at everything that we're trying to do, and you know, we know at the moment we want to try and get on a roll and start putting the ball in the back of the net more regularly. That part of the game is a part that we've worked really hard on the last few weeks. But you know, we've without having Wes all of the season, without having Callum Roberts virtually all of the season, losing Christian Dennis, you know, you're kind of taking 35 to 40 goals out of the team there. And although we've signed some really good players, it would be remiss of me to expect them to come in and bang in the same goals as them players. So that's probably where we're just sort of trying to improve that area at the moment.
In terms of Solihull Moors, what do you think their major threats will be? Because, I mean, obviously Jimmy Shan's gone in. You'd expect a different game to what you got last season. Because I remember the games against them last term were real wars of attrition.
Yeah, no, they're a footballing team. I said that we got all the datas, and as far as possession of the football, I think we're the top 2 teams in the league. You know, they play a very expansive 3-4-3 system, and like they say, it's a challenge to get it right against it. You've got to work hard without the ball. Your distances of your team have got to be right. You've got to know who's pressing where. Otherwise, it can feel like you're a player or two short when you haven't got the ball. And on the flip side, we've got to know how we're going to beat their press and how we're going to break lines against them and cause them problems. So we'll make sure the lads are up to speed with both. And obviously then the boys have got to deliver on the day.
Will Richard Brindley be fit for tomorrow night?
We don't know. We left him off for training today, but we'll assess how it improves with the icing and the work that we're doing on it.
Can he wear a mask?
I don't know if that's so much the issue. He's probably too swollen and sore to wear a mask. I don't think wearing a mask is the issue. I think it's just making sure we get the swelling down and he feels comfortable breathing through his nose and stuff like that. But we'll assess it, and we'll know by tomorrow afternoon.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you.
Hi, Neal. Just a few follow-up questions, really. As we mentioned, kind of like about the transfers with Chris. What's the latest with the movements on that? Have you made any developments in signing players, or? No, not at the moment. We're working hard to try and make sure whoever we bring in is the right person. So yeah, you know, we don't want to go and jump the gun and then realise that somebody we would have preferred maybe would become available. So yeah, we're working hard, and we're close to having options
on that list, but it's not something we can just click our fingers and make happen.
And although they are in the initial stages, are you looking at permanent signings or short-term cover loans? Or
I would have thought more likely, we've got a loan space available, so the more likely thing is that there'll be a loan coming in, but we have only got sort of one space to make the 5 up. So yeah, all things are on the table still, but certainly, if you do permanent, you might end up, permanents might want longer than just the rest of this season, and then you're eating into what you might be looking to do in the summer.
And like you say, with the one space of the 5 left available, I guess that adds a little bit more pressure to get that absolutely spot on, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So you need to make sure you've got the right cover for the right positions, as we talked about before, whether it be left back or centre back or whatnot.
And looking ahead to the game against Solihull Moors, like you say, they've turned into like an expansive possession-based team. Do you think they will need an element of patience to get a result from the game?
Yeah, of course. I think one of the biggest things that we probably suffered from last season was because we were Notts, we felt we had to dominate every game, and that's not the case. Sometimes you work behind your shape, and you've got to take that sort of big club mentality, as if to say, anxiety can creep in if you feel like you're not dominating a game. It's not about dominating a game all the time. It's about doing the right things to create chances, to give yourself the best chance of winning the game, and we'll try and get the balance right. We don't go to any game or team expecting not to have the ball and expecting to be on the back foot and try and nick a win. We'll go to try and win. We'll go to try and be the better team, but we've got to appreciate when a good team pass the ball well, that there's got to be times you don't leave yourself open.